Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Performance E Streaming. We are back, and we are here with the Thunder. Yes, it is the X-Finity cars here for the X-Finity season of 2024 here with the ANZCAR crew. I'm, as ever, Mr. Carl Wilkinson with the up here in the booth, joined by Mr. Mark Johansson. Mark, how you going, mate?
Yeah, good mate. Good, a good turnout here tonight. Charlotte, 26 cars. A few names that have decided to jump back in the car, like the 53, aka the Godfather. So it's good to see him back out there, and a good size field, 26 cars, mate. Should be a fun night here at the 1.5 mile oval.
Absolutely, we are looking forward to a good race, and that these Xfinity cars never fail to just do that. Let us run through the starting grid for tonight's race, as we have Andrew Dyson taking pole position ahead of Mr. Barry Neal on row number 1. Row number 2, we've got Ruben Phelps with Dave Douglas. On row number 3, it's a Mitch Lockout with Micklemore and Martin. Row number 4, we have David Webb, new to the series, with Mr. Riley Curtis. Row number 5, it's the Godfather with Edward Foster next to Shane Bowen. Row 6, we've got Stevie Dubb with Alexander Sheridan. On row 7, it's Roger Clark with Lachlan Urquio. On row number 8, it's Norman Clark with Gary Wellman. On the 9th row, we've got Wesley Closey with Troy Davidson. Row number 10, it's Maxi Marshall and Brad Fenley. Row 11, Tristan Koch with Paul Jackson, Mr. PJ himself. Kate Donnelly and Tom Williams make up row 12. Row 13, we've got Scott Lefevre and Ryan Jones, and that's the field for tonight's race. Getting ready for this one, Mark, and 130 laps around here should be a pretty fun race indeed. We're looking forward to seeing quite a bit of action out here tonight as the Xfinity, the Thunder, comes back to Performance E streaming for 2024, and these cars never fail to disappoint. Pace car is about to pull in, and we are about to go live. I'm going to shut up. Let's enjoy the start of this race as they come to the flag, and we go green here at Charlotte.
Well, that's a great start. Everyone's got through that lap one. No carnage on the first lap. But a little bit different car. We've normally seen that 06, the SRM car of Ruben Phelps, drop towards the back. But tonight he's decided to stay up front, and he's slotted into second place in front of Barry Neal. So a little bit different strategy for Ruben tonight.
Absolutely. We got the two Kiwis sitting in behind Daiso, just in front of Dave Douglas and Josh Micklemore. So quite a good little mixture of cars up towards the front at the moment. But good to see Ruben up there, and I think he's going to be trying to have a bit of a better season than he did in the trucks, and hopefully get it off to a good start this season as well.
Yeah, definitely a little bit further back in the pack. We've got, as I say that, I was just going to say Lachlan Urquio and Stevie Williams side by side, but now it looks like it's Gary Wellman and Lachlan Urquio. They now slot themselves into a single file, followed there by the Godfather himself. So good to see him up there, and just outside the 10 at the moment in 14th position. And I will make a shout out to that 231 Paul Jackson returning to the series tonight. I had a little bit of a go at him because him and Barry Neal's car are very similar in paint, and I said to him, I could always tell you two apart with your purple wheels, but he's decided to come out tonight with pink wheels. So thanks, Mr. Jackson, for that. I can tell you guys apart again.
Absolutely helps with a quick glance to see which Aotearoa racing car it is, and well, it makes it a little bit easier to spot the difference between the two. Barry Neal up in 3rd position at the moment, PJ down in 17th spot at the moment as well, just behind Roger Clark. Those two battling it out at the moment as well. With Lachlan Oakby, plenty of fighting going on throughout the field at the moment, Mark. We're seeing a lot of action a little bit further down the pack. Although Jason Martin is starting to make a move forwards now as well as Shane Bowen and Stevie Dubb.
Yeah, they've been side by side now for almost a lap. So Stevie Dubb's not backing out, and neither is Shane Bowen. We've seen Shane have a pretty reasonable truck series. As we talk about him, he just touches the wall. So that's knocked him back a little bit. Now Stevie Dubb's making the move on Curtis.
Good old commentator's curse in full effect there, working its magic instantly, Mark.
Yep, definitely haven't lost the Midas touch, have we, Carl? But further back, we still see now Troy Davidson, Paul Jackson, and Alexander Sheridan having a nice little battle there for the lower positions, trying to work themselves out. And some good action. The action's really picked up again, picked up from where the truck series has left off.
Yeah, we've been absolutely treated with some great action recently in, well, multiple disciplines of racing, multiple disciplines of oval and other series as well. And, well, tonight is no exception. And we always say that the X-Finity cars are some of our favourite cars. They always bring some great action to the track. And tonight is no exception. We are seeing it once again. And the worst thing about this, Mark, is we have to sit here and we have to watch. And unfortunately, we don't get to play with these cars too much. And that is a big shame because they are some of our favourites. Yeah,
definitely right, Carl. I'd love to be out there tonight having a run. But our duties are called up here, bringing all the action to our viewers. So we will try and keep you up to date with everything that's happening. So far, everyone's behaving themselves. Haven't lost anyone. But there is still some great battles here from 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. They drop themselves down in the single file, then they clamp back up and go too wide. So again, some great battling right throughout the field.
Yeah, some really good action out on track at the moment. It is definitely bringing us some great stuff.
Yeah, the other thing too, Carl, tonight we should see 2 pit stops through the race. So if we stay green, we've definitely seen in the trucks especially the green stops really mix things up a little bit. So it's going to be interesting to see if we stay green the whole race. But right at the moment out front, Andrew Dyson's got nearly a second gap now over Barry Neal, and Ruben Phelps is still right on Barry's tail. So good racing up the front and good racing right throughout the field.
Yeah, absolutely. We are seeing the battle going on here as well, with Alexander Sheridan down the inside of Paul Jackson. This fight is definitely bringing us some really exciting action.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. Couple of different lines you can run here. You can run the low line, but if you stick on that low line, you tend to hurt that right front a little bit. So you can see that a lot of these guys are running mid-track just to take that pressure off that right front.
Oh, big clip of the wall for Stevie Dubb there on the exit of turn number 2. That was a hefty whack to the 98. Looks like everything is still pointing in the right direction, but you've got to be careful with that kind of impact.
Yeah, these cars are pretty sturdy, but they'll only take so many knocks like that. That's now his second knock into the wall. So you won't want to be doing that too much. because it will eventually whack that steering out of alignment.
And unfortunately, you don't tend to whack the left side in these cars, so you can't just knock the steering alignment back into some form of straightness. You generally just hit the right side, and it just makes things get worse. So up in the front, it is Mr. Andrew Dyson, having a commanding lead at the moment. A good half a second ahead of this man, Barry Neal. Keeping him honest at the moment. And look, watch out for Barry latterly in this run. He tends to be good at keeping tyres alive. And I'm sure this will be the case tonight. Watch out for him coming good as this run goes on. We'll see if he can take it to Dyson, who is no slouch himself when it comes to tyre preservation. We've got the two Kiwis battling it out at the moment with Roger Clark and Paul Jackson, and it looks like the 999 has managed to get up past Paul Jackson, up past PJ, and is on the back of Alexander Sheridan. Meanwhile, Tom Williams making a move in the 55 now. Up high. Will he get it jammed in time? He does, and gets the move made on PJ, who's just dropping back a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, Paul will just be sitting there. It's a long way. It's only lap 17 of 130, so he won't be in too big a rush. He'll just be settling in, changing the commentary booth from last night into the race car tonight, and same with a few other guys out here tonight. Coming back to left turn only. Dave Douglas there sitting in where is he? In 7th at the moment behind Stevie Williams. So some nice paint schemes on them cars, thanks to Mr. Curtis.
Yeah, Dave proving no slouch on in a GT car last night as well, taking victory in one of the sprint races in the wet, miserable conditions of Donington Park.
Yeah, definitely a different what's the word I'm looking for?
Kettle of fish.
Yeah, there last night. But tonight we're here back in the good old US of A at the America's home of racing. So be interesting to see how he goes. I do know, I do believe, I should say, he does like Charlotte. So we'll see how he goes. He's sitting there in 6th place at the moment. He's another one that won't be too worried if those leaders get away, because he knows that it's still a long way to go in this race.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a long old race to go. We're only 20 laps in of 130, so 110 laps remaining now. And it is one of those tracks that you just got to get settled into and get yourself into that routine, into that rotation, get yourself comfortable in this race, because the longer the race goes on, the more chance of a caution flag coming out, and also as the marbles get left on track, it gets trickier and trickier, and those walls become more and more magnetised as well.
Yeah, definitely right. We just see there that group for 8th, 9th through, excuse me, 8th through to 13th, 12th, sorry, starting to bunch up and starting to get real racy. That grouping includes Mr. Ed Foster there. So interesting to see how this group decides to sort them out. Also in there we've got Gary Wellman, and he's no slouch on the ovals.
David Webb having a good run in the 58 out on debut tonight. Getting a good position up in P9 at the moment, battling it out with Riley Curtis right behind Shane Bowen as well. So good to see a fresh face out on the track and having a good run here tonight at Charlotte as well. We are always happy to see new drivers appearing in the league. If you fancy having a go, if you're into sim racing and you tend to like the oval stuff, do feel free to apply, because we are always looking for new talent, new drivers to come in, and it is always a nice thing to have a few extra drivers on track. And you know, even if you don't think that you're going to do well, you can always make a lot of learning from a race like this.
Yeah, definitely right, and you've got to start somewhere, and these probably one of the better places to start learning how the crafts of the oval. Not quite as powerful as the Cup car, where we'll go to that later on in the year. So if you want to get involved, now's the time to do it.
Yeah, of course, there is also the lightning rounds going on at the moment in ANZCAR. And currently we are in... Well, we've gone back in time a little bit. We are in the 87 car, the NASCAR Legends cars at the moment. And we had the first race at Richmond on Monday night. And, well, this man here, Andrew Dyson, took the checkered flag and took victory ahead of Edward Foster in that race. Some good racing on the slightly shorter track in those very unforgiving cars. If you are newer to oval racing, I would probably recommend not starting out in the Legend, because those 87 cars are absolute beasts of things, and they really do catch new drivers unaware, whereas these X-Finity cars are absolutely perfect for learning in. Good little battle going on here for 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th. And these guys all really nose to tail at the moment. You can see Shane Bowen looking to make a move on the top half of Stevie Dub at the moment. Going to get a good run out the corner here. As long as he doesn't make contact with the wall, he should have this move on. Oh, Riley Curtis up in the wall. Foster having to take avoiding action there. Just as Curtis gets pinned up against the wall, loses that momentum. Foster goes down underneath Curtis, is looking to make the move here. Curtis is going to get a better run off the corner. Will Stevie Dub just be a little bit of a cork in the bottle there, as Foster and Curtis battling it out on track at the moment?
And Curtis was lucky. He was able to get that thing off the wall and just keep that momentum. And it's kept Ed now backing behind him. So we were very lucky there that didn't actually turn the car around at all.
Yeah, it's so easy to get caught up on a wall like that and find the car in in a very nasty position. It's easy to get spat back down, and especially when you've got a car inside of you as well, just clip that car and cause a massive wreck. So it is always tricky to get that one, to sort of get those moves absolutely perfectly worked, and to get away with an incident like that as well. But luckily everybody did. And we continue on here tonight as Stevie Dub gives the wall another bit of a clip, makes a bit of contact with Gary Wellman, and that's exactly what we were talking about there. When you clip the wall, you tend to get spat down into the car below. Just gave Wellman a little nudge there, but they managed to hold it in the right position. Going back to have a little bit of a look at a replay here. Tristan Koch, the 550, possibly having a bit of a moment. Let's see what's happened here as this race goes on. Had a notification that he had a bit of a moment and possibly a little bit of a bite on the wall. But let's see if we can pick it up here and find out what happened to Tristan Koch. It's gone very high through there. Will it be a clip of the wall? No. Our timing screen's not letting us see that one, unfortunately. But we have got racing still on track. Curtis, Bowen, Foster all racing out at the moment, battling it on track as we are on lap 32 of 130.
Great setup there by Curtis on Bowen, and Foster takes the advantage also getting through. So now up inside the 10.
And then we've got this absolute furball of a battle. It is chaos back here. 14th down, Ryan Jones making his way through. Troy Davidson, Wesley Closey, Alexander Sheridan and Kay Donnelly all battling it out for position at the moment. Norman Clark just sitting at the back there watching this fight go on, but plenty of action on track at the moment. We are seeing some great racing out here tonight.
Yeah, definitely are. The only thing Jones is missing is little bit of water. So maybe if it started to rain, we might see him start to move forward a little bit more. But he's just sat there and he's slowly now starting to move his way forward. So we'll keep an eye on him. He's closing in on the back of Lachlan Urquio at the moment.
Yeah, Ryan the Duck Jones becoming a bit of a rainmeister at the moment. Really performing well over on Checkered Flag E-Stream in the Aussie Outlaws GC3 series. Has been absolutely doing great stuff in the wet weather over there as the series is over in the UK at the moment, and enjoying some of the British summer weather.
That's great British weather for you and I, Carl, since we're from that part of the world, but I don't know about everyone else. But back up the front, Carl, we've still got Andrew Dyson with nearly a second gap over Barry Neal, and a further second back to Ruben Phelps. So they've spread out a little bit. Ruben's now starting to fall back into the clutches of the Mitch boys. So watch for them to start to get a move on as the laps tick by.
Yeah, don't discount this car as well. The number 10, Mr. Dave Douglas. That Mustang is moving up the field as well. He's got past Jason Martin back there, which is no mean feat. And they're starting to close up and get into some good racing. And you can see Micklemore has Douglas all over the back of him. And you just get the feeling that maybe Dave was just taking it easy at the start just to get those tyres nicely bedded in, so he could absolutely work his way forwards in this race and move himself up into a stronger position if we get a good long run, which we are getting at the moment. As so close there on the exit, big slide as they go through. Micklemore going up to cut Douglas's momentum off. Didn't work though, because Douglas had the chance to switch it underneath him and makes the move. A beautiful pass for position there from Double D Dave Douglas. Absolutely caught Micklemore off guard as Micklemore went for the defence, and it just ended up costing him that position.
Yeah, we've seen Dave have some great races in these cars, and also in the trucks, but not always coming out on top, just getting mixed up with someone else's incident or getting involved in something that's out of his control. So let's hope the first round of these Thunder Series brings him some a good result.
Plenty of action down the pack as well, as we got Closey, Davidson, Sheridan and Roger Clark all fighting out for position at the moment. Little bit of contact between Davidson and Sheridan as well. They are getting very, very racy, and the cars are starting to get very, very loose at the rear. The back end is starting to step out. You can just see it with the cars on the exit of the corner. They are just having to put a little bit of counter steering to keep it going straight. So this is where the tyres are starting to drop off and the cars get a little bit trickier to drive. Of course, they're getting lighter as well as they burn off that fuel. And it is very easy to get caught out in these situations. Norman Clark working his way forwards as well, getting past Stevie Dubb. He is working his way up through the field at the moment. Same can be said for Ryan Jones. He's closing in on David Webb at the moment. Ryan Jones starting down in... he started way down the order towards the back of the grid. And he's worked his way up nicely through the pack at the moment, up into 12th position. So definitely got some speed in that car, just did not quite have the qualifying that he needed. And I think we got a first car coming into pit lane, and it is Stevie Dubb.
Yeah, sorry Carl, we've had a move up the front too. Dave Douglas has been able to get that pass done on Ruben Phelps, and he's actually starting to pull away. So DD has definitely got some speed in that car.
Yeah, Douglas charging forwards at the moment, and definitely got the long run pace here, so it is working very well for him at the moment. Stevie Dubb coming in early, first of the cars to stop. So he's going to be trying a slight undercut here, seeing if he can get a bit of advantage. He's going to be hoping that we do not see any caution flags fly, because that will really scupper his night tonight if that happens.
Yeah, just gone back and had a look at that. It's just a routine service, 4 tyres, some fuel, and nice, easy, straight back out onto the racetrack.
Got a bit of a juicy battle forming up here between Bowen, Wellman, Webb and Jones. These 4 battling it out for position. And definitely David Webb's got some really good pace in the car, but maybe just missing a little bit in his long run pace. He's starting to struggle a little bit now, and you can just see him dropping down the order, and I think he's coming into the lane actually. So he is going to pit here. But that's always a thing when you start when you're slightly newer to oval racing, when you're slightly newer to the series, tends to be tyre management tends to be one of the trickier things to learn, and it is something that takes a bit of time to get used to. Once you unlock that, though, it is amazing the difference it makes. But you can teach tyre management, but speed is much harder to teach. So that is a good start for his ANZCAR career here. Definitely got the pace, just needs to do a couple of little tweaks just to get the few things worked, as we've got the A1 boys coming into the lane, Dave Douglas and Riley Curtis. So both of these coming into the lane now, and a little bit surprised to see Dave in, because he had some really good pace out there as this stint was going on. So he's obviously decided it's time to pull it into the pit lane. But I feel like he could have stayed out a little bit longer and just getting a little bit more pace.
Yeah, but we've seen too, excuse me, Carl, in the past, that if the guys come in and they don't come in with a teammate or someone else to run, they get hung out to dry. So it's really not probably a good thing that both of them come in together and can work together on the outlaps.
Yeah, they can hopefully get that worked out nicely and get themselves up a few positions. Of course, they're going to have the undercut, which is where the tyres are much fresher. They'll have a bit more pace out on track. And, to give you an idea of what that pace deficit is, last lap for Stevie Dubb was a 31.7. Last lap for Andrew Dyson, our leader, was a 32.6, so almost a second advantage on those fresh tyres. The downside, though, is when you stop earlier, people who stay out a bit longer will have fresher tyres later in the stint. So it can outweigh each other. Sometimes it's better to come in a bit later, but Barry Neal now pulling it into the lane. So we've got these pit stops starting to happen, and dribs and drabs at the moment. Not everybody coming in. We haven't seen a mad rush to the pit lane yet, but we're definitely seeing big groups of cars coming in. How much longer until the leader, Andrew Dyson, pits?
Well, definitely on those guys that have been in pit lane. It's definitely around lap 90. We'll see them back on the pit lane, and they will make it home from there. So definitely a 2-stopper race. Even if Dyson gets it out to 50 laps or a little bit more, he's definitely going to be a 2-stopper also. But we can see Dyson still within that second. Foster's in this lap.
He's pulling it in now as we ride on board with Andrew Dyson into the lane. He comes, and it just shows just how tricky it is getting into the lane from the in-car view. It's one of those things that is very easy to stuff up coming into the pit lane. Very easy to make a mistake, and very easy to find yourself in the wrong position. Then you need to hit your marks, of course, and that's always a tricky thing as well. Andrew Dyson, very good at pitting. He is very quick in the lane, always good at hitting his marks, and he's doing that right now. And then it's just getting the car out of the box, onto the apron and back onto the racetrack. And this can often catch people out as well, because you're on cold tyres on a part of the racetrack that has tons of marbles, tons of low grip to it, and it's very easy to spin the car on the exit here. So you always have to be careful coming in and out of pit lane. very easy to make those mistakes. Meanwhile, Dyson's teammate Ryan Jones is leading this race now. He's sticking it out a bit longer, and I wonder if he's going to stick it out as long as possible here. See what he can come up with.
Yeah, well, there's 8 cars now that haven't been in the pit lane, and as we watch them, one of them, Ryan Jones, Shane Bowen, Norman Clark, Kay Dolly, Lachlan Urquio, Alexander Sheridan, Tom Williams, and Wesley Closely are the guys that are still to come down pit lane for their first service.
Yeah, so they're sticking it out, hoping for a caution, but they're also early enough in this race. If it does go green, they can make a lot of this time back. So it's not going to be critical as Ryan Jones pulls it into the lane. So does Shane Bowen. That's going to leave Norman Clark out on track, taking the lead of the race here on lap 52. The 09 of Norman Clark up into the lead, and he'll be sticking it out as for a couple of extra laps, I'm sure, but how much fuel is left in the tank, that's going to be the crucial part now.
Yeah, we've kind of sort of given up trying to get our spies down the pit lane to find out how many laps these guys can get, because as we've seen through the truck series, Carl, we do get lied to at times.
Yeah,
now.
It is very common for our spies to lie to us, just to make it more interesting. But they are doing a good job out there. We've got a great battle for the lead at the moment. Kay Donnelly, Lachlan Urquio, and Alexander Sheridan all sticking it out that little bit longer. And I wonder if we're going to see Urquio just stick it out one more lap just to get that bonus point, which he is going to do here. So himself and Sheridan stay out. So we've only got a couple of cars left now that have not been in the lane, and we are seeing, well, the first round of green flag stops almost coming to a close.
Yeah, we can just see the speed difference there with Jones getting underneath Lachlan Urquio. So it's going to be interesting to see when Lockie decides to pull the car in along with Tom Williams and Sheridan. But it looks like Sheridan has now dropped down to that low line and heading for pit lane.
That leaves Williams and Urquio out on track at the moment. And look, we'll just do the team boss of SRM a favour. SRM have no chance of winning tonight. They're really just got no chances at all. We'll try the reverse commentator's curse for them tonight. Dave Douglas is in the effective race lead at the moment, but he's battling it out with Andrew Dyson. Side by side they go. This is a tyre deficit of 6 laps. So Dyson on 6 laps fresher tyres, he is going to try his best to get past Dave Douglas. Dave Douglas is going to try and hold on to that position, but when you've got 6 lap fresher tyres, it does make the job that little bit easier. All that time that Dave made up on that undercut has all disappeared now.
Yeah, and what Dyson would have been trying to do, what Dyson would have tried to be doing also is holding Dave down on that low line, so making him use that rubber a little bit harder. And you can see there as Dyson drove off there out of the turn, he got a much cleaner run and it was a lot quicker.
So the gap to Urquio now just about 6 seconds. So that is a fair amount of time. Urquio 58 laps into this stint. I wonder if he is in big fuel saving mode and trying something a little bit different here. I don't think it's going to be an easy thing to do, but you just get the feeling that Urquio's driving to a fuel number at the moment, and he's going to be trying something a little bit different here. So obviously trying something a bit different. So that could be interesting to see how this when this race starts to unfold. So if he can make it to lap 65, which I don't see how he could do, but it is... If he can do it, then he could possibly do this race on just one stop, but he's got to make 5 more laps on that tank of fuel, and that seems like a big ask at the moment.
Yeah, it's a yeah, I don't know, but we have seen guys do it. I'm just seeing a wiggle there. Maybe he's starting to get a bit of a splat in the motor, so we'll definitely see in the next couple of laps what he can actually do.
I'm going to jump onto the helmet cam here and watch him in the corner. Will he use a big clutch drop in there? Not quite. So still got some gas in the tank, and where you can see in the mirrors right now, Andrew Dyson about to come sailing past Lachlan Urquio. He definitely doesn't have the speed, but he is very much going, and now he has to pull it in. So 61 laps on this stint. That's a big old stint, and well, not enough to get him to the end with one tank of fuel, but it does mean he can come in for a very quick splash and dash at the end. So this could still work out quite well for Urquio. We'll have to see how this one unfolds.
Yeah, look, it may be an advantage to him, but I mean to say, if we get a caution, that all goes out the window too.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what Urquio can do. He's going to have such fresh tyres compared to the rest of the field here. He's going to have a good pace deficit, but he's got a lot of time to make up. He's just exiting the lane now, and he is a lap down. He's last and a lap down. We still have 26 runners out here tonight. We've got a full field, full 26 cars out here tonight, which is great to see. And everybody still running 63 laps into this race at Charlotte for this round 1 of the Thunder Series. It is the X-Finity here on Performance E streaming for the ANZCAR League and Series, and it's good to be back in these X-Finity cars.
For these guys it is, not for us up here. Look, the job now Urquio's got is hard, because as you said, Carl, he's sitting in last place, a lap down. So just let's hope he doesn't take too much life out of those tyres that he's just bolted on, because yeah, he's got to get past 4 cars to get back into the 4 cars to get back into the lucky dog position. So it's going to be a hard job for him tonight.
I do wonder if he's going to try a big fuel savey stint here, just doing something a bit different. It's going to be very hard to make it to the end, but it would be interesting to see what he decides to do, and if he can actually make it work. So could be on still for Urquio, but it's going to be an uphill battle for sure. Meanwhile, up at the front, it is still Andrew Dyson in the lead. Dave Douglas still sits second. That little bit of undercut has really paid off for him as he comes along in P2, just ahead of this man, Josh Micklemore. One of the kind of losers in that one was Barry Neal, losing a couple of positions down in 4th spot. Rubens Phelps in 5th position. Then we have Jason Martin. He's got Riley Curtis all over the back of him at the moment in 6th and 7th. Edward Foster in 8th position. David Webb in 9th. And Stevie Dubb in 10th position. Battling it out with Ryan Jones at the moment.
I'm just keeping on this I'm just keeping an eye on this battle back down there for as my cameras decide to change. Tom Williams and co. Nice little battle. Lachlan's closed in on these cars, so he's got one pass done on Tristan Koch, but now he's slowly picking his way through the field. He's got that second one done now on Tom Williams, so it's he's slowly working his way back through the field. So we'll definitely keep an eye on how he progresses.
And he's got the pace at the moment to catch up to the leader as well, so he'll be able to get his lap back, and that's what he's going to be planning to do, is get past Daiso, get his lap back, so if the caution flag does fly, at least it's going to be less severe on him. So he is definitely going to be wanting to get that lap back as soon as possible, and continue working his way through the field. He is currently in that lucky dog position, but Andrew Dyson is a little bit further up the field and still lapping quite a few cars, so he has to crucially get past Daiso to get that lap back and get himself in a position where he can get back into this race. And well, Oakley will be hoping for a good Xfinity series after his truck series earlier in the year had a fantastic result in that one, coming home in second place in the championship just behind Jason Martin. Meanwhile, man on the move once again is Ryan Jones, the 11 working his way through the field, working his way up the pack and up into P9 now. So it's been a long night for Ryan Jones, who didn't have the qualifying result he wanted, but he is making it up in the race as he sives his way through the field. Still got some good racing on track at the moment. Scott Lefevre, Roger Clark and Paul Jackson battling it out for 16th, 17th and 18th at the moment, and still plenty of action in this race to come as we're on lap 72 of 130 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway for this round one of the Xfinity series. It is the Thunder here on Performance e-streaming.
Yeah, now I've just been keeping an eye on Urquio. He's now up on the back of Dyson, so he's been able to close that gap up, and won't be too much longer before he gets his lap back. So we'll just have to wait and see how he goes here. Very close there. It switches to the low line. So he's now back on the lead lap, but he's more than, as you can see, he's now more than 30 seconds behind the race leader.
Crucially though, back on the lead lap.
Yeah, and one good thing though, Carl, too, if we have a caution come out now, the question is, does he dive to the pit lane? Because he will definitely be one of the quickest cars in their box if he takes tyres and just a splash of fuel.
Well, they can pretty much all make it to the end from here as well, so it definitely would be in the lane, but he'd be able to gain a fair bit of advantage in the lane just with the quickness of his stop. And we know he's got some good pace tonight, so it'll be interesting to see, but I'm kind of hoping we get a nice long green period here, because I want to see what his strategy is on this race and see what happens. We've got Tristan Koch coming in the first of the second stops happening now as he pulls the trigger and comes in for the final stop of the race, at least in green flag conditions. So we're going to start seeing these second stops starting to rotate their way through the field.
Carl, we've got to move for third position. Barry Neal inside of Josh Micklemore. So great run. Just been watching that battle. Great setup by Barry for the last couple of laps to really put Micklemore under pressure and take that P3 back off him.
As we said earlier on, you've got to watch out for Barry Neal in the long run. He's one of those drivers that can just whisper to his tyres and he keeps them alive. A long run pace is always one of the strongest things for Barry Neal.
So back up the front though, Dyson's definitely started to run away with this race. He's now got a 4-second gap over Dave Douglas, and you can see from the shots there before we were switched to the race leader. Barry Neal is now out after Dave Douglas, and he is closing him down.
You can see them in the same picture right here, and the Toyota of Barry Neal closing in on the Mustang of Dave Douglas, and this battle is definitely going to be on, as we've got Urquio just having a little bit of a moment, and just absolutely gunning it at the moment. He is going full throttle, and is definitely one of the faster cars on track at the moment. He is very much going for it, but well, this man here, Andrew Dyson, still setting some very good pace. So plenty of different strategies playing out here at the moment, and plenty of action still to come. Probably one of the big ones to keep an eye out for at the moment, though, is this battle for 6th position. Jason Martin, Edward Foster and Riley Curtis all at it. And, well, this is a couple of wins with championships on screen at the moment. We got Jason Martin and Edward Foster, two drivers that have got quite a few victories between them.
Yeah, definitely can't count them on one hand, that's for sure. There is one driver in the field that I want to make a shout out to, and that's Maxi Marshall, the 08 car. He's sitting down in 21st position at the moment, but he's definitely one person that slides under the radar a lot. Doesn't always get up there in that lead, but he's definitely a constant runner. He doesn't miss a lot of races, so well done, and good to see him out there on track too, just rotating.
Yeah, he'll be hoping to work his way up into the top 20. I'm just looking, and I think we may have lost Lachlan Urquio, unfortunately, due to a technical issue or a mechanical failure. Looks like his system has dropped out, and we have lost him from the race, which is a big shame indeed for Lockie, and a big shame for our strategy as well. But we've got this race going on between Foster and Martin at the moment, two absolute stalwarts of the series, really racing hard. And now Ryan Jones is coming into the mix as well, so we have got a lot of race victories on screen at the moment in Australian Oval League racing, and some of the cream of the crop at the moment racing it out on track.
Yeah, I can tell you, Mr. Foster holds the record over in the old Weekend Warriors racing league there from a couple of years ago. 21 starts and 17 race wins, so very experienced race winner. And I can confirm that Lachlan Urquio has had a packet loss and has dropped out.
That is a huge shame for that one, because I was looking forward to seeing what strategy would play out there for Lockie. I was intrigued to see how that one would go on, but unfortunately we've been robbed of that. And well, it's the closest thing to an engine failure or a transmission failure in sim racing, when your internet decides to stop working. Battle for second place is starting to get a little bit hotter now, as well, as Dave Douglas has Barry Neal all over his tail. Barry Neal starting to apply the screws to Double D and is looking to move his way up into second place. But they have got a long old gap to make up to Andrew Dyson, who is absolutely flying out there tonight with a almost a 6-second lead over second place. Barry Neal looking to try and get underneath Dave Douglas, doesn't quite make it this time. They are very much racing hard with each other. Who is going to get it? We're going to find out in a few short moments. Douglas just driving into a slightly defensive position, but they are very much going for it. Barry Neal
Oh,
gets
sorry, go on.
Barry Neal gets a good run on the inside here, and he's just trying to get the overlap on Douglas. He's got it, and he slides up in front of him. Up to second place goes Barry Neal.
Before that pass, I was just going to say, like to make a shout out to one of our racers that is currently ill at the moment, and one of our fellow broadcasters, Steve Hoppert, who we normally see out here in these Xfinity cars, a little bit crook and under the weather, and having a little visit to the hospital. So, mate, if you're out there listening, get well soon, and we all miss you here at ANZCAR and also over at Aussie Outlaws. So get well and get back to us soon, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. Get well, Steve. We look forward to seeing you back when you are feeling a little bit better, and can't wait to see you back out on track and have you back up in the commentary booths as well. We've got some pit stops happening as well. We had Foster, Clark and Clark in the lane. Both Roger and Norman Clark coming in the lane. Paul Jackson as well, he made his pit stop. That's going to be crucial information to Barry Neal, having his teammate come down the lane. That will give him some useful information on how the tyre wear is going. Dave Douglas now pulls it in from third position, so Double D coming in for that earlier stop again. As Josh Mickelmore makes a huge mistake entering the lane. Big slide job, a little bit too much rear bias in that car. The back end steps out, and will he get himself a nice stop-go penalty for that one? Did he speed? Did he get an unsafe entry? That is disastrous there for Joshy Mickelmore.
He has got a black flag.
And we see Barry Neal pulling it into the lane now, so we are starting to get the second round of pit stops going underway, and you don't want to leave it too late. You need to have a bit of time to make use of those tyres. Of course, you could risk it right now just in case that late caution flag flies, but you've got to say, as this race goes on, less and less chance of that caution happening. Dyson pulls it into the lane, gets it slowed down. On the brakes he goes, gets it into that position. That's going to promote Ryan Jones up into the lead of the race. And, well, we are getting into the final few laps of tonight's action. Good battle going on between Sheridan and Williams at the moment as well. Plenty of action still on track, Mark. We are seeing some great racing out here tonight.
Yeah, some fantastic racing. Again, as I said earlier on, Carl, the racing's just picked up from where the trucks left off. And we still see Jones there now out there in the lead.
And we see all the timing screens coming alive now as we've got a whole heap of cars on fresh tyres, and we've got a whole mixture of cars out on track as well. Ryan Jones decides to finally pull it into the lane and gets it slowed down. He's going to come in. Andrew Dyson still in the lead of the race then. He managed to hold on to the lead, keep himself ahead of Dave Douglas, who's managed to jump past Barry Neal once again with that earlier stop. So that slight undercut coming into effect for Double D. Dave Douglas once more but it is this man, Andrew Dyson, leading up front once again, and looking like he is going to be a hard man to beat here tonight at Charlotte.
Yeah, definitely the man to beat. Dave Douglas there in the background. Second place, Alexander Sheridan at the moment sitting in third place. So good run for him.
Still to come in for his final stop though, Sheridan. So he is going for a longer stint here, possibly hoping for a caution. I would say he is banking on a caution right now, because when he comes into the pit lane, he is going to lose a whole heap of positions and find himself well down the order. But if the caution flag flies, he is in the prime position at the moment. Definitely
right. And look, we've had 97 laps of green flag. If we're going to see a caution, it's going to be in the next 10 laps, I'd say. We see that in a lot of races. If we have as great green flag racing, we normally see one or two cautions towards the end of the race as the people just start to get a little bit tired, start to get a bit lethargic, and just not 100% clear on their moves.
Yeah, that's it. The concentration starts to wane a little bit towards the end of these races, and it's very easy just to make a little mistake as well. As we see there with Josh Micklemore in the background making one of those mistakes. Huge impact into the wall on the right-hand side of the 31 Mitch Motorsport car. He has made the mistake coming into the pit lane and then makes a mistake out on track as well. And Josh Micklemore will be glad when this race is over. Having a rough night out there at the moment.
Yeah, look, he with that mistake, he's been caught down in 21st place, a lap down. So he's I can tell by the language of the body work and everything, the way it's moving around, he's absolutely got that go gas pedal right to the floor. He's not backing off. You can see that by the way there's no flame coming out of the side of the car. Where he's backing off, he's just got it held flat, trying to make up that lap, get through those lap cars there to get back into the lucky dog. So there is a caution. He's right back into this.
Yeah, he's got a lot of cars to get past for that lucky dog position though. Brad Fenley, Wesley Closey, Kate Donnelly, Paul Jackson, Roger Clark, Troy Davidson. So really not in an ideal spot at the moment. Speaking of some ideal spots, Ryan Jones closing in on David Webb. He has got the homing lock on to David Webb and is looking to make the move. Up and under he goes. Remember, Ryan Jones stopped a lot later, so he's on some of the freshest tyres out on track. 10 laps fresher than David Webb at the moment, who's doing a stellar job in P9. Looking like he is... well, if he can continue in that position, it will be a very nice start of his season. Inside of the top 10. Gap is closing between Double D, Dave Douglas and Barry Neal at the moment. Barry Neal homing in on Double D. Edward Foster in 4th position. Sort of a little bit of a lonely race at the moment. Nobody really too close to him. A little bit further back, Ruben Phelps, another driver that's having a bit of a lonely race. Nobody too close to him either. Alexander Sheridan sticking it out as long as he can, hoping for a caution here, but that caution is not looking like it's going to come. He's got Jason Martin closing in on him in 7th position at the moment. Jason will be moving up to P6 in no time at all though. Still Andrew Dyson out in the lead, the 41, having a very strong showing here tonight, and well, once again proving why Andrew Dyson is one of the top racers in Australia. He is always a hard man to beat, but he is very much on a mission tonight, and he has had pace to burn.
Yeah, he's been out of gapped the field now, or gapped Dave Douglas by 4.5 seconds. So It's a great thing to see. When Dyson's in full flight, he really does spread those wings and takes off.
David Webb just losing a few positions there, dropped down to P12, got passed by Shane Bowen and Gary Wellman and Riley Curtis. So dropped him down a couple of spots, but still having a solid run out there. Gary Wellman all over the back of Riley Curtis at this time as well. Still plenty of racing here. With this long a green flag period, usually the field gets pretty split up, but tonight we are seeing everybody relatively close. There are still plenty of battles going out here on track at the moment.
Yeah, now that gap between Dave Douglas and Barry Neal for second and third is now down under a second, Carl. So that's definitely one thing to keep an eye on. With the laps really starting to run out now.
Yeah, it's down to half a second now. Roger Clark just in the middle there of the two cars, falling down a lap, and won't make it too difficult for Barry to get past, I'm sure. Not really needing to race to keep in front of him. He'll just keep himself up out of the way, which he does, as Barry Neal slides his way underneath and now has a clear run to Dave Douglas. As we jump on board with Barry Neal here, get a bit of a view of what it's like from inside the car and from inside of the Toyota, and get a good view of the dashboard here. You can see he's absolutely gunning it at the moment. Dave Douglas just going underneath his teammate there, Paul Jackson. So Jackson doing a nice thing, not getting in the way of Dave Douglas, keeping it fair out on track at the moment. And well, Jackson himself racing for top 20 positions at the moment. He's in P17, racing well as it stands.
And we can see Paul get a little bit of a slide up there through those turns. But I will say that Jackson will just step aside and let Neal go when he finally gets to him, as we see that happening right now.
So get off the corner, you can hear the lifting going on just to get the car turned in the corner. Little dab of brakes, I'm sure, just going on in the car just to get the car's nose in, just shifting the weight of the balance of the car, just getting it so it's nice and settled through the turns. And you know, all these little things that you have to do on an oval, they're crucial to get it working. You know, it is very nuanced movements when you're racing a car on an oval. You know, it's the smallest little things can make a big difference when you're racing these cars. You know, just a tiniest dab of the brake, you know, not even, sometimes even less than like 5% of the brake you're depressing. It's just enough just to tip the nose down a little bit, just get the car's balance in there. Lifting off, of course, just helps the car turn in a little bit. And then when you get back on the power, if you can drive it off the rears, which is really a talent in these Xfinity cars, you can keep the front tyres alive, and that keeps your speed up as well. So all crucial little bits of racing nuance in these cars, and it's all being shown right here by Barry Neal, who is closing the gap. It's now down to 0.3 of a second. You can see it visibly closing to Dave Douglas ahead. Bit of a view from the left rear of the A1 car, the Riley Curtis Designs logoed DD's casting couch entry here. Dave Douglas trying to keep on for the podium positions. Currently in second spot. Can he keep that place secured? Can he keep himself ahead of Barry Neal? Almost about 17 laps to go right now. We are very quickly coming to the end of tonight's proceedings. Can he hold on enough to keep himself ahead of Barry Neal, or will Barry be able to make the lunge and boost himself up into second place in this race?
Well, I don't think Dave will be too worried if he does get past. He's got the next car in line is Ed Foster, and he's nearly 10 seconds down the track. So Dave will definitely want to stay in the second. But if Barry does get past, I don't think it's going to be too big a concern. He'll leave tonight's race with a good haul of points.
Battle on here between Wesley Closey and Paul Jackson, 17th and 18th position. Wesley Closey having a very good run here tonight as well in the 75, up inside the top 20, another stalwart of the series, and one of those drivers that will absolutely keep on racing on and have some good results under his belt. Good to see him having a good run out here tonight, battling it out with Paul Jackson. This is for 17th and 18th position.
There's another battle going on now, as I said. Ruben Phelps in fifth, battling with Ed Foster for fourth.
Yeah, the 06, the flying Kiwi himself, Ruben Phelps, getting a good run on Foster here, and it looks like he is going to make the pass, and Foster is in danger of losing another spot as well, because Ryan Jones is closing up at a vast rate of knots as well. Foster on the older tyres out of this group as well. He's done 27 laps on those tyres. Ruben Phelps 24 and Ryan Jones only 20. So that is definitely causing a little bit of disparity as they lean on each other going through the corner. Foster just gets so close to the wall. They are racing hard out there. There is some real rubbing going on, but Foster comes off worse. Ryan Jones takes advantage of it though. He takes both of them in under a lap.
Some great rubbing there. I don't know if Ed would appreciate it too much, but nevertheless, it is NASCAR, and that's part of racing. And we can see now Phelps trying to battle back on the outside of Jones. Now he switches to the inside.
Yeah, if you want three of the harder racing drivers on the racetrack, three drivers that will not be afraid to rub door panels with you, Ryan Jones, Ruben Phelps, Edward Foster, definitely in that group, and they have Jason Martin in there as well. So four very tough drivers on an oval, and they are just showing it there, but also clean drivers as well. Great racing there. They didn't wreck each other, they just absolutely leaned on each other and drove to a great result. Great battling out on track there. We got Gary Wellman and Shane Bowen also having a good scrap down for 9th and 10th position. Shane Bowen having another good result here in the Cobalt Racing entry. Newer to oval racing, of course. Only about a year of experience under his belt, but definitely one of those drivers that has made a mark on the series and having another good run out here tonight. Meanwhile, the battle for second place is still on, and Dave Douglas is doing a fantastic job of defending at the moment. Only 10 laps to go, and he is keeping Barry Neal behind him and keeping himself in that second place position.
It's great to see that gaps are closed up, and then Dave's been able to find just a few extra hundredths of a second to breach it out, then it closes up again. So right now there's only 400ths of a second between the two of them, and Davey's definitely looking good here for second place if he can just keep it straight and clean.
Yeah, not much difference between the tyres on these cars as well. Barry Neal's about a lap or two fresher than Dave Douglas, so not really any tyre advantage for stint length between these cars. It's all down to driving style, and they are doing a great job of it at the moment throughout the field. Plenty of action still to come. Jason Martin, meanwhile, has managed to get past Foster and is now hunting down Ruben Phelps. So still plenty of racing going out on track, Mark.
Yeah, definitely is, and again we're seeing battles right through to the final lap. You know, as we're saying, we're watching this one here for second and third. Then further down the track there between Wellman and Bowen. So great racing. Definitely picked up from where the trucks left off. And if this is anything to come for the rest of the 11 weeks, Carl, I'm keen to get on to next week.
Absolutely. Plenty of battling going on, and Shane Bowen finally makes the move on Gary Wellman, moves himself up into 9th position, drops Gary down into 10th, but that battle is still very much on. Right now, though, this is the one to focus on because we have the fight for 2nd place, and the gap is down to less than a tenth of a second as Barry Neal closes up on Dave Douglas. Can he get the move done? Can he get himself up into 2nd place? Dave Douglas is not going to give it up easily, that's for sure.
No, definitely not. And we have seen some great door-to-door action on the last laps through the trucks. So I would imagine that this will be the same. Although Dave's just running that fraction higher. I just hope these cars just in front of him don't get involved and give him a clean run.
They got Cade Donnelly in front of them at the moment. He's racing with Troy Davidson. So they're sort of, that's the big thing at the moment is there's lots of racing going on. Even the lapped cars are battling it out for position. So plenty of stuff going on. Barry is down on the low side. He's going to try and get the run on Douglas. Douglas will have a better exit of the corner. Barry's trying to get the slide through the inside of the corner, trying to get that tighter line, trying to get that move done. Dave is defending, though, hard defending from the A1 driver, Dave Douglas, in the number 10. He is positioning that car beautifully. Has to stop Barry from getting that tight line and getting a slide job up underneath him on the exit. He has to make sure he has overlap. Right now, though, Barry has got a good run here. Can he get it through the corner? Can he get the overlap that he needs? Not quite. Douglas just keeps the nose ahead, and that's going to give him the run down the back straight once more. Brilliant racing going on here. 4 laps to go, and this is the battle for 2nd place.
That higher line just seems to get the better run out of the turns. Barry's got the run into the turns, but it looks like he may have the job done here. He's got the whole car in front, but can Dave come back?
He's got it right now as he slides up in front of Dave Douglas, right behind Cade Donnelly, and Barry Neal takes 2nd position. It finally happened. The fight for P2 has come to an end, and you can see Barry Neal pulling away from Double D right now.
And that's just a tyre life, a couple of laps younger tyres for Barry. So great battle again, as we said, right to the final lap almost. Some great battles still happening, as you can see on screen there, between Phelps and Martin, I believe it is.
Yeah, these two fighting it out. But it's going to be the white flag coming out very, very shortly for this man, Andrew Dyson. He is going to be coming through to take victory here tonight at Charlotte, and very much a well-deserved one, as Jason Martin has almost made the move on Ruben Phelps. We'll jump back to that action in a minute, because we'll keep our eyes on this man as Andrew Dyson comes up through turns 3 and 4 for the final time tonight, and he will cross the line and take victory here tonight. It's Andrew Dyson taking the win here tonight. Battle for 5th position looks to be done as Jason Martin has made the move on Ruben Phelps. That will leave Barry Neal coming home in 2nd, Dave Douglas in 3rd, Ryan Jones, solid result, coming home in 4th position after starting right down at the back of the pack. Jason Martin brings it home in 5th, just ahead of Ruben Phelps. Edward Foster in 7th, 8th for Riley Curtis, 9th for Shane Bowen, and Gary Wellman rounds out our top 10.
Great racing right throughout the field, and 130 laps of green flag racing. So it's great to see that the X-Finity cars have picked up where the trucks have absolutely left off, with racing right throughout the field.
And some well-deserved celebrations for Andrew Dyson, who is, I think, a little bit happy with that victory out there tonight, and doing some good drifting action out there as well. A really, really strong race from Daiso tonight, and just stamping down his authority, just saying that he is here for the X-Finity series and is looking to have a very strong season indeed. As he goes off for some adventures, trying to find some interesting spots to park a car. Andrew Dyson taking victory here tonight. Let us run through the finishing order for tonight's race. It was Andrew Dyson for DPR taking victory, 7.8 seconds ahead of Barry Neal in second place. Third place for Dave Douglas. DD having a good run here tonight. Ryan Jones comes home in fourth position, biggest mover of the race, up 22 positions. Jason Martin comes home in fifth, with Ruben Phelps sixth, seventh for Edward Foster, Riley Curtis eighth, ninth for Shane Bowen. Gary Wellman comes home in 10th. We roll over the page. Good result for David Webb on debut tonight in 11th position. Stevie Dubb comes home 12th. Norman Clark 13th position. Troy Davidson 14th. 15th for Kate Donnelly. Wesley Closey 16th. 17th for PJ Paul Jackson. Roger Clark comes home in 18th position. Tom Williams 19th and 20th for Brad Fenley. Alexander Sheridan, 21st spot. Josh Micklemore, unfortunate night indeed, 22nd. 23rd for Maxi Marshall. Tristan Koch, the final finisher in 24th. And we lost Scott Lefevre and Lachlan Urquio from the race. As we wait for the drivers to get themselves sorted out and get themselves ready to come up here and chat, we'll be heading off to the Worldwide Technology Centre. It's Gateway next up for the Thunder Series. That will be on the 30th of May, so we look forward to seeing you all for that one. So, as we get ready for this little final bit, we will quickly just, as I say, remind everybody that we have the next race coming up at Worldwide Technology Centre. It is Gateway for the next round of the Thunder Series. We look forward to seeing you there for that. Of course, there is also the action of the Aussie Outlaws on this weekend too, over on Checkered Flag streaming. So we look forward to seeing you, some of you there for that one too. But we will start off with getting up our third place finisher here, and the man, the myth, the legend himself, the man of the casting couch, Mr. Dave Douglas. Dave, welcome to the booth, mate. Congratulations on P3 here tonight at Charlotte.
Yeah, thanks there, we'll go, brother. P3 wasn't P2, could have been P2, but I think the lap traffic just didn't do me any favours. Like, they weren't doing anything wrong, but just catching them at the wrong time at the end of the race there, I just got real tight. So, like, when Barry got to me, I was just going as hard as I could. So, like, that was everything I had. So I can't do it anymore.
It's hard enough to beat Barry on a good night, and he had some really good pace there. We saw there wasn't much difference between the tyres as well, so that was some good news in your favour. But he put you under a lot of pressure in those final few laps.
Yeah, I stopped the lap earlier. I saw him come in the next lap after me this time. And you get a good enough little... I had a 2 point something lead, 2.5 second lead over him, and and in the first, him and Josh sort of used them up to get to me, and then I just paced myself, waited till they got to me, and then I started driving a bit harder, I guess. So I tried to do the same thing there, and it worked for 20, 30 laps till the last flaming 3 laps or whatever it was, and he finally got past me. But yeah, like he was sort of just stuck there at that point 4 for 20 laps, and he couldn't really do anything. And then just until we got that traffic, like I said, I think it might have just got a bit tight on me, but I don't know. Who knows, mate? He might have just been holding back and playing with me.
Just playing with his food. That's a disgraceful thing to do. No, good race from you tonight, though. We saw some really good pace out there tonight. Coming in a little bit early, trying the undercut in that first pit stop, of course. It worked out pretty well because it did get you that good jump ahead, as you were saying.
Yeah, it wasn't sort of playing actually undercut as such. I was literally just trying to break the race down into thirds. So I figured that was about lap 44. So I came, and then there was another 45 lap run to 90 or something like that, which gives you basically a 40 lap run home. So in the realm of 3 laps, trying to break it down into third. So I was coming whether or not however far I was ahead or behind, So I think just try and make it even all the way through.
Well, it worked out pretty well indeed. I mean, you made up 1 position from the starting spot up into 3rd position, and a podium is never a bad way to start the series. Obviously, we're in the X-Finity cars now for the next 11 extra races, of course, and well, these things are a bit of a blast to drive, aren't they?
Yeah, they're fun. They're a good car. They're probably the better stock car when you get up into the sort of trucks cup-wise. So they're probably the more stock car-ish over the sort of years they've gone by. So they're good to race. And yeah, I don't know. It's cool, I guess, yeah.
Well, look, I do not doubt that next time you'll be at least 1 step higher on the podium. Dave, well done for tonight. Congratulations on P3. Before I let you go, though, the love, the shout-outs to sponsors, and of course your adoring fans of the Casting Couch.
Oh, yeah, just shout out to you and Mark. Get to come up here, P3. At least I get to come and have a chat to you mad blokes sitting up here. Hopefully made it somewhat entertaining. It was a green flag race, but there's plenty going on. Like I said, you got to drive these cars. They're not like that dirty truck where you just hold a flat around every corner just about. But anyway, shout out to Riley, RCD, and doing all the paints. Fresh skins on the old X-Finity tonight. They look pretty good. So, yeah, shout out to him and A1 Sim Sports. And hopefully we go a couple better next time if Dyso doesn't show up.
Yeah, just make sure to punt him off on lap 1. It always helps. Congrats, Dave. Well done indeed, mate. And I'm sure we'll see you back in the booth soon.
All right, too easy. Thanks, boys. Love you, mate.
Dave Douglas there, coming home in P3 here tonight. Next up, we have our Kiwi driver, and it is the man of the Aotearoa racing team, Mr. Barry Neal. Barry, welcome to the booth, mate. Congratulations on P2 tonight. A hard-fought 2nd place. It was definitely not an easy one for you.
No, it wasn't indeed. Dave and Josh. I think Josh must have had a penalty, but yeah, they certainly ran me tough, hard, and it was hard work catching Dave and getting past them. To get back to 2nd, so yeah, they undercut me, and actually I think they did faster pit stops as well, which got them a good chunk of a time ahead of me, and gave me a hard time to catch back up.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw, unfortunately for Josh Micklemore, he had a bit of a spin coming into the lane, which caught him a penalty, which took him out of the equation. But
yeah, right.
It was a fairly hectic, fairly busy race, to say, up at the front, because once Dave got past, it did not look like it was easy to sort of catch him. You sort of got caught in that bubble about 0.4 of a second behind, and it did not look like you could really close that gap too easily.
No, it's a funny old track with these cars and these tyres, for sure. And you've kind of, well, the way I was driving it, I kind of felt like I had to go too slow, and you'd get into the middle of the corner, and I was kept on going slower and slower and slower, and I could see Dave there, and I wasn't making any inroads on him, but I was thinking to myself, oh, hopefully, as happened the previous stint, that as I get closer and closer to the end, I'll have the tyres, So I tried not to force myself. I just tried to go, oh, just ignore the fact that I want to catch Dave, and just run run a run a line and thing to get to the end as quickly as possible, and just, even though it feels like it's really slow, just keep doing it, because hopefully by the time I get to the end, because it was Ed and Ruben and Ryan were quite a long way behind, 10 seconds behind or whatever, and I was kind of weren't worried about getting attacked from behind. So yeah, no, it was hard work. And Andrew Dyson, boy, he's good, and he just disappears off into the future, and he's like,
He's a quick driver, isn't he? It is.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. It's like you on your night. It's sometimes you just sit there and go, how do you manage that? Well, tonight you definitely had the pace, but just not quite Dyson levels, which is never a bad thing, because it did secure your second place, which is a good start to this season at least.
yeah, no, it's a great start. Actually, as I was driving along, I don't think I've ever finished second in an ANZCAR race before. I've won, and every now and then I've had a third, but I don't think I've ever had a second. So I'm going to celebrate the fact that it's my first second.
You've ticked it off your bingo card.
Yeah.
That is crucial stuff to do. Look, congratulations on P2 tonight, Barry. Before I let you go, the shout out to sponsors, people. Go for it, mate. You've absolutely earned it tonight.
Oh, yeah, thanks. Yeah, Tony Richards Toyota, MRX Race Sims, my teammate Paul, and Brad and Tristan for hanging out with us, and you guys for putting it on. Thanks.
Hey, always welcome. Thank you so much, Barry. Well done indeed, and I'm sure we'll see you back in the booth in no time.
Cool. Thanks. Bye.
Barry Neal there, coming home in P2 tonight. And finally, well, we probably should speak to the man. It is the race winner himself. It's Mr. Andrew Dyson. Dyso, welcome back to the booth, mate. Congratulations on... Well, it looked fairly simple from our position. I doubt it was that easy from behind the wheel.
Yeah, it never is. You're always watching the mirror to see who's doing what and who's going for it, what lines they're taking and all that, but no, it was good.
You had some wicked pace out here tonight. We saw some, well, not just the short run, the long run, everything was working for you tonight, and looks like you were just absolutely switched on here.
Yeah, it felt pretty good. I felt like I worked out pretty good in practice, and then even when we jumped into qualifying, the track changed like massively. It was like it got 50 degrees hotter all of a sudden, but I managed to work it out there as well. So started off the front and was able to keep the clean air on the nose for the first part of the race, and I think that really set me up.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, clean air can be a big help on a track like Charlotte, because you're not having to worry about the car just getting those little bit of extra tyre wear, and it sounds like that was a bit of a help tonight as well.
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as I found myself behind a few guys, pit stop cycle or a few lap cars or whatever, it was very noticeable. So like, sort of rolling up behind, I think first pit stop cycle, I come out behind Josh. The tyres weren't massively different. I think he was 4 laps, older, but I still wanted to try and get past me as quick as I could, and it wasn't going to happen like without me really actually having to lean on the tyre a fair bit to get it done. Otherwise, I was just going to be stuck behind him, sucking up all that dirty air and just killing the front tyre. So, and same sort of thing when I got to Dave as well. I had to really, if I had just sat there and followed him around, I would have gone backwards in terms of tyre temp and longevity, like at a rate of knots. So, I had to try to pass him straight away. Got that done, and yeah, noticed it definitely later on with a few lap cars, but other than that, yeah, it was good. So, but yeah, to answer your question, yes, clean air was massive.
Yeah, it looks like it was very helpful indeed. Look, a good way to start off the X-Finity series as well. Victory here tonight at Charlotte. That's never a bad way to start a season. Are you looking to run the full series this year?
I don't really think about that. I mean, I just want to roll up and race the races I can and do as well as I can in each race, really. So same as sort of last season. What was last season? I don't know.
Trucks. Yeah,
trucks, and same with whatever's on Monday or whatever. I'll just roll up when I can. I know I said at the start of the year I didn't really want to do too much, weeknight stuff, but as I've sort of gotten used to a different start time for work throughout the weekdays, I've sort of adjusted to it quite nicely. So now I can do these races and not feel absolutely wrecked, and still get to a good bedtime. So yeah, hopefully I can do a few more for sure.
Just when you think you've gotten out, we just pull you back in.
It's addictive, man. And you know what? a good dude who used to race all the time, and we miss him, Michael Skerlock, once told me that this stuff is addictive and I should be careful. And I didn't listen to him, so here we are.
I know it's worse than crack. I swear. I would say it's not quite as expensive, but I know how much sim rigs cost.
I agree with the cost, though. So I've heard. But...
Look, congratulations tonight, Daiso. Well done indeed, taking victory here tonight. Before I let you go, though, love the shout out to all the adoring fans, the sponsors, the people, the Daiso fan club as well. Congratulations tonight. Go for it, mate.
Just on the subject of Skirly, I'll shout out BMX Bandits. Miss all those boys, but I suppose I've still got Dougie and Riley, so that's good enough. Shout out all DPR boys, everyone who comes out for a race on the night. Simrigs.com, Southwell, BMX. Neuropower, I suppose. Good sponsor for the league and everyone else who gets behind it. Cheers.
No, awesome stuff. Thank you so much, Daiso. Congratulations, and I'm sure we'll see you back in the booth in no time, mate.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
Andrew Dyson there for DPR taking victory here tonight. Mark, we are done and dusted here tonight at Charlotte. And, well, as I said, we're heading off to Worldwide Technology Centre. It's off to Gateway next time out. A slightly different track, and that's going to be a very different challenge for these drivers.
Yeah, definitely is going to be a bit of a challenge, a bit more of a flatter track. And we have seen some of these guys struggle in the past years when we've gone here. But nevertheless, it still turns on some great racing, and if anything from tonight, we can take anything from tonight, it's definitely going to be some great racing again next week.
Absolutely, we look forward to it. Look, for tonight, a big thank you to everybody for joining us in the racer. If you are looking for a little bit more action this week, we of course have the replay heading up from the lightning round on Monday night. The 87 cars, that's up on up on ANZCAR, on the ANZCAR page. Of course, head over to Checkered Flag e-streaming as well to catch all the action from the GT Freeze last night at Donington, and a little bit more action on the weekend as well, Mark.
Yeah, we're off to Darlington for Saturday night, so be interesting to see how they head there and race before we head into the big one, the 600 the following week.
Absolutely, we look forward to it indeed. Well, for tonight from us here at Performance eStream, a big thank you to everybody, as I said, for joining us on the channel, and of course the drivers. For Mr. Mark Johansson and myself, Carl Wilkinson, with you, we wish you a very good night indeed, and we will see you back here next week. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you again soon.